Yeah. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining and welcome to the fourth webinar of the series RMAI Compass 2.0. Today's topic, as you know, is how tech is enabling the last mile reach, challenges and opportunities, and it is supported by Seedworks International. So I'll not take much of the time and welcome today's moderator, Mr. Amiya Swarup, Director of Marketing and Advisory Marketing and Advertising Advisory EY. Mr. Swarup is a seasoned business leader with over a decade of experience in advising clients on marketing strategy and optimization, and currently heads marketing and advertising advisory at EY. Now I would like to welcome our eminent speakers for today. We have Mr. S Bhatia, founder and CEO of pumpcart.com and phygital.com. Mr. Bhatia is a visionary and a seasoned entrepreneur with 20 years of experience in water pumps industry, and in year 2014, he disrupted the pumps industry through his B2C marketplace, pumpcart.com. Now him and his team is setting up phygital.com, which I'll request him to explain a bit later. And then we have Mr. Nikhil Kaul. He is CEO of LMCE Private Limited. Mr. Kaul has over 20 years of experience and has been associated with Impact Group for 5 years now, and leads the operation at LMCE as Chief Operating Officer. Mr. Kaul is driving the last mile initiatives and developed a strong GTM strategy for multiple brands such as Beckett Benckiser, Apollo Tires, Godrej Consumer, Tata Tiscon, Signify, DS Group, and others. And the third speaker for the evening, Mr. Shyam Iyengar, VP Supply Chain Storeking. He is a seasoned consumer supply chain professional with varied exposure ranging from traditional retail to rural e-commerce. His expertise includes demand management, supply chain optimization, vendor management, third-party logistics management, distribution management, imports and talent management, cold chain and transition management, and reverse logistics. Before joining Storeking, he was with Patanjali Ayurved and set up their distribution. So now I would like to hand over to Mr. Swarup for the discussion. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Adar. And yes, we have an illustrious panel right for the discussion topic which we have today, which is on tech enabling the last mile. While we are starting the panel for discussion, we've already are being flooded with a lot of questions from the audiences. So I thought to start to set up the context, I will take the first question up already, which is very pertinent to our discussion today. It is, why is rural important for New India? It is a significant part of the digital infrastructure vision of our country. If you go by the metrics, and we've recently released the FICCI Frames report, EY's released along with FICCI, and the numbers there are staggering. There are over 1,200 million telecom subscribers in India. Rural subscription has grown by 45%, and these are the numbers as on December 2020. Share of broadband in rural as on today stands on 39% of the total subscribers. So that is some infrastructural information to start with, and it's just going to go in that direction, and there is no coming back. It's just going to get deeper and wider, and the infrastructure spread is just going to get wider and wider. So let me start with Nikhil first. Nikhil, if you would like to talk about how your journey has evolved and how you've seen that for your brands and for your customers, you've used digital or you use tech to enable the last mile reach.
Great. Thanks, Amiya. I think thanks for setting the great context to the entire conversation. I think there's no doubt about the fact what rural is and what is the kind of potential there is. Now, coming back to your question, how's been the journey and how I see digital? I think the journey has been extremely exciting and enriching, to say the least. I mean, the kind of learnings that we've got over the last period of 5 years is enormous. Let me set context that we started this journey around 5 years back, and we started with one FMCG brand and started with 2 states, UP, Bihar, if I'm right. Started with 4 districts, and that was a pilot we started into how sales and distribution can be managed in the last mile. The journey of 5 years from 2 states, 4 districts, 1 brand has moved on to 14 states, 3 lakh retailers, 13,000 villages across the country, 6 categories, and we're contributing to around 350 odd crores to combined to these companies that we are working with. And this journey has been a fantastic teacher to us. We've learned so much over this period of 5 years, and we've learned, unlearned, burnt our hands, and it's a great leveler. While this journey has been very successful, I think what's very important is that there are a lot of components that come together to make a successful model. And just to address the question that you asked, one of the biggest contributors in the success of LMCE, helping brands to go to rural, has been technology. Tech in digital has been the most critical enabler for us to succeed within this rural landscape. When we started 5 years back, Amiya, the 2 pertinent questions that are there in rural for any company to try and win rural has been that there's a cost to reach. That's one big challenge, and then there is low volume offtake that typically every company would always struggle with. That the cost to reach is very high, and the reasons can be multiple. And one of the reasons is that the volume offtake is very, very low. And we started with this addressing this question, and we still try and address this question in every client that we work with, that where and how. So 6.75 lakh villages, please correct me if I'm wrong, in that 6.75 lakh villages across the country, you cannot go to every village. You need to sharpshoot, you need to know where to go, and you need to know how to go. And these 2 roadblocks got us deriving that what is the model to succeed in rural, and technology is the reason that why we succeeded. You couldn't go with gut. You cannot go with gut. I like UP because it's dense, hence let's go to UP. Or I like Rajasthan, it's scattered, but there's potential, hence go to Rajasthan. No, it doesn't work like that. So let me give a few examples that how tech was the science that helped us evolve. And I'm talking about 6 years back. Now the tech that I'll talk probably would have gone miles ahead. We started using technology like GIS mapping, for example, right? So we picked up GIS mapping. We worked extensively with GIS as recommending to us on various parameters of sharpshooting to villages, like kacha roads. What are the kacha roads, pakka roads? How is the cluster of households looking like? What is the kind of retail versus household that is there in each village? What is the kind of road network between a village and a distributor point? There's distance challenges. Once we got this data using GIS, we married it, and again, tech came into play because we married it with Consumer Prosperity Index, we married it with population, we married it also with the current coverage potential of a client. And what came out was beautiful because it was prioritized markets. And we knew exactly out of these 6.75 lakh villages, where should we go? And what came out was, around 18,000 villages, which were high density, which had high potential. A lot of people do a mistake of saying that high population is what is high potential. No, it doesn't work like that. High population is no guarantee of high potential. So
that's right.
All of this, Amiya, was done using technology. So the first thing tech helped us 5 years back was in helping us figure out where to go. So it came into play the moment we started strategizing. That where to go, how to go, what is the reason to go there. Also married with the kind of product, the company that offtake would be there. You wouldn't go for a soap exactly where you go for a lube, for example. So tech kind of helped us with that in the strategic bit of it. Second thing which I've seen in evolution over the last 4 years is something which is very critical to succeed in rural is execution bit of it. How tech plays a very critical role in execution. We all sit in our boardrooms in Delhi and decide how the work will happen in a village which is 3,000 pop strata, which is approximately 500, 600 kilometers away from your local regional office. Doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
The hyper local manpower sitting there who's supposed to go and cover 3 villages. You leaving it on his whims and fancies that how will he portray or sell your brand. And second thing that I realized over a period of last 5 years is that technology plays a very, very critical role in last mile channel development, in governance. It's very, very important that where is he going? What is he doing? Are the lines that are sold increasing or decreasing? We at LMCE, Amiya, were very sure that we don't want to be a sales company. We don't want to be driving secondary to clients. We want to be a market development company, right? The guy wouldn't go to a shop and say, what's your order? The guy needs to start recommending to a shop. Hence, it's very imperative that we micro see him all the time with the satellite. So starting using of applications, realized within 1 year that tech gave us a recommendation that our guy should not travel more than 45 kilometers one side, because that's not optimizing throughput. So execution suddenly took a big use of technology, and we kind of optimized our functioning, the throughput increased, the stocking got better with distributors. One very, very interesting learning we had, and that's a good example that, you know, and to every panelist as well. 1 year after operations, there's something called as sales, and there's something called as delivery, right? Our sales shot through the roof, and we were doing crazy amount of numbers for our clients. But what we suddenly realized is, why, for example, I'm doing 100 crores of sales, my delivery is only 40%. Multiple instances of why it's happening. But one of the instances can be that your guy on ground is only doing numbers to showcase numbers, right? You don't know what he's doing. He's just getting his KPIs done. And that's when technology integrates quickly. So we innovated by going into something called as thermal printers, which started talking to our application. Whenever a person would give an order, we'll submit the order. The order will get printed on a thermal printer. The retailer will have a copy signed from the VSR, and the VSR will submit a copy to the distributor, which was signed by the retailer. Suddenly, the delivery versus order, which was at 60%, shot up to 90%. Today, we are at 90%. So look at technology driving this thing of bridging the gap between order and delivery. So tech has been at the forefront always, and the evolution has been every year, every quarter, and we are quick to adapt to it. You know, we have 800 people working around the country today. We are doing around 26,000 retailers every day. We're selling SKUs, which I can't even talk about. The data inflow is crazy, right? Crazy is the word. But how do you make gold out of this crazy is important. You know? That's where tech comes into play. I mean, sitting here in Delhi today, I can tell you exactly in which month, in which state, in which village, with a mosquito repellent offtake increase. So we all would know that, you know, monsoon, UP, offtake will increase, but that's not important. Important is tech is helping me derive what is the forecast for the stock keep and what is the kind of stock that should move, let's suppose, in a village in UP. You know, now, that what is the kind of stock you should deliver. That's the magic of tech and data. That's how the tech has evolved over the period of last 5 years.
No, brilliant. I think, you know, you've pretty much covered the entire life cycle of using data analytics and tech and strategy in, you know, as part of your execution, app management, micromanaging the, you know, your potential consumer. And one of the things coming from an EY, and we're auditors, I like the way how, you know, you're also driving assurance that it's not just a KPI, you know, achievement, and, you know, driving more assurance and accountability to the last mile executive who's, you know, who's on ground. No, it's a lovely use case. Shyam, coming to you. From the logistics side, you had a good journey from, you know, moving from Patanjali, which is has, you know, created sensation in, you know, establishing the brand and creating the distributor and the last mile the way they have, and then, you know, moving in your current role. How have you seen this evolve, Shyam? Shyam, you're on mute.
Yeah. Good afternoon, Amiya, and good afternoon to all my fellow panelists. Yeah, and to the audience. Yes, so I've been very fortunate enough to have a stint at Patanjali, that were their headquarters in Haridwar, and I moved to Bangalore, where my family lives, just at the cusp when we were entering into this pandemic, 3 months before that. So I've seen what was pre-COVID at Patanjali and what is post-COVID at Storeking when I came back to Bangalore. So yes, Patanjali is an organization which scaled up in record time. But what happened with Patanjali was the logistics was very plain in terms of manufacturing happening at Haridwar. We had a mother hub there. Stocks used to move from there to some of our warehouses run by third party. From there we used to move to super stockists. They were called super distributors in Patanjali parlance, and from there on to distributors, and from there on to retailers. So it was a long value chain, and the visibility honestly used to stop at the distributor level for us there. So typical of any FMCG organization that you talk of, Patanjali had the entire range, right from fruit juices and beverages to spices, rice, pulses, biscuits, confectionery, and the home care and personal care. So at one point in time when we ramped up, we actually ramped up on the primary, giving scant need on the secondary. So what happened was there was a rebound from the market, what we saw in 2018, especially after the 2017 GST being implemented. And 2019 was when we started to correct ourselves. So the key is Patanjali was more of the GT skewed, the general trade skewed organization, which happens with any, monolithic large brand. And the composition or the contribution of e-commerce of modern trade was very little, which is less than 5%. So general trade is typically, primary. We focus on primary. Secondary is left to the super stockist who does it, and then you lose sight of it. As against that, when I came out to Bangalore and joined Storeking, which is a tech-enabled distribution platform for the rural India, it was a complete sea change. What we did here was the game changer for us, as I see it. And to add to what Nikhil said, it was all app-based. So the technology started there. It was all app-based. The entire product catalog was listed on the app, which was visible to the rural Kirana. So what we do is it's a B2B entity here, Storeking being an entity being based out of Bangalore, having its hubs in 3 locations, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Indore, but while we serve 8 states. So it's about the app being available to the rural Kirana to whom we serve, and the order being taken from the rural Kirana on the app. So as against the push that is there of a typical FMCG organization, this was a pure pull we looked at. The retailer would order what he wants to order. And add to what Nikhil said, we had a feature in our app which says what Bharat is buying. Today, non-urban, non-tier 1 is called as Bharat, tier 2 and beyond. So we had a trend of what Bharat is buying. If you go to an app, it says, go to pick Telangana as a state. Suddenly you will see that Karimnagar is buying this. The trend is on probably Santur is moving fast. So what we can do is we can tap that market and procure it, so you're working completely backwards, which means it's a complete pull. The customer is driving your entire organization, and it's tech which is helping you do that. So tech is so powerful here. Tech, as we say, not even being an enabler, it probably could be the driver. It could lead to being a driver to drive the demand at the rural level. You sitting in Bangalore or you sitting in Delhi, as Nikhil rightly said, can understand what is the requirement of a customer 3,000 kilometers away from you. And that was what helped us, understand the consumer need, because we make rural Kirana as the anchor because he's the one who influences the end consumer. So when you have rural Kirana in your binding, in your framework, he's the one who does the last mile to the end consumer. And that is very critical because he influences what sells. He also understands what sells. And that's how we come to know what we sell, and hence we are very nimble, very, asset light in terms of carrying inventory, so that we don't end up, carrying excess inventory. And this has really helped in COVID during the pandemic. What we did was, whilst we were supplying stocks through courier for the orders that was placed by a retailer in a remote village twice or thrice a week, we educated them saying that there is a supply constraint. There is also being a supply chain constraint. We told them that we would like you to stock goods. So there we built a entity called as a super franchise in between Storeking and a rural Kirana, who's called a rural franchise. There was a super franchise who's a distributor, who's a stock holder. We got him to hold stocks for a week, and so that we used to dispatch the stocks every week and not every day. By doing so, they were sure that they would get the stocks every week once on a particular date. Either to sending by courier, you can send it on a definite date, but there is no definite time or date that you are able to reach out to the customer when you're using a courier. By using a concept called as a permanent dispatch plan, we call it dispatching weekly once. It's equivalent to a permanent journey plan, which HUL has for its salespeople. You have a permanent journey plan where the salesman takes a beat. It takes a typical route on a particular day of the week. We did a similar thing for our logistics ex Bangalore on a particular date of the week. By vehicle will touch Tumkur, Davangere, up to Hubli, which is about 500 kilometers away, so that the distance of 500 to 550 kilometers is so critical, because only when I dispatch it today, I will be able to reach that 500 kilometers within 2 days. So the window between dispatch and delivery should not be more than 48 hours was the statement that the TAT that we had agreed to, the SLA that we had agreed to. And with this concept going, we have been able to always have a fulfillment rate of 95% plus till date, despite the pandemic. So this has been a great learning for us. I had a couple of slides to show on that. So if you may allow it to be seen.
Of course.
And the audience, I would like to show the PDP concept. Amiya, I would like you to allow me to show the slides. It is prompting for you to.
Adar, you'll have to help me out. I don't know what to do here. Sorry, I don't have any controls here, Shyam. So let's come back to that while Adar figures that out.
I can tell Adar. Let me just check. I can help him out on that.
No, but that's interesting. So the fundamentals of supply chain.
You can. Sorry. You can try it now.
Yeah. So is the screen being seen by all?
Yes.
Yeah. So what we named it was Airavat. Airavat, if you know, is the white elephant on whom Vishnu rode.
Yes.
It's about moving, so since it's related to movement, we've named it Airavat.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see here how we went about solving the rural India's last mile logistics using this project, we had, as I told you, enabled a hub and spoke model, so that we have 3 hubs which covers the South and Central India. And the spokes were each of our super franchises or distributors, if you may call it so, who used to collect the stock for us. So by doing so, what we did was we ensured that each of the super franchises got the goods from us on a milk run. So what we do is, if I have to deliver up to Hubli, say from Karnataka, from Bangalore, I will keep delivering in Davangere, in what you call Chitradurga, en route to Hubli. So I've got multiple delivery points. So it's a milk run that we run. So this milk run runs every week in a full truck load. So the truck is full. I keep delivering on a scheduled date of the week. The super franchisee is aware that he will receive goods on a particular date of the week. So he needs to be stocked for that particular week. So he needs to have that inventory planned only for that week, instead of having it for a whole month, or probably having it only for 2 days. But what we did by solving or getting into this concept was, we ensured that the super franchisee was always getting stocks regularly. There was a definite time period between which he used to get stocks. And that helped him stock the good, do optimum planning of the what you call inventory. It also went on increasing the average order value for me. If you see, I used to tell boss, for this particular route, I need at least 5 lakhs of order. So each of these franchises would come and pick the goods that they wanted, order it on the app, the order would come to me, I would consolidate this, fill the truck, send it across and deliver it once a week. It also ensured that since the trucks went one shot to all the locations, there was no delays in transit. It used to reach from the dispatch to the delivery within 48 hours, as I told you. We used to also save cost because more the boxes that I load in a truck, my cost is absorbed better, and hence effectively it used to also ensure efficient inventory planning at the super distributors end and hence at the Kirana's end. So that's how, the current metrics, if you want to have a look at it, is serving 300 plus such super distributors. We are having 100 districts. We do 200 a month and about 180,000 kilometers covered every month.
So this is brilliant. This is, practical use of an innovative use of tech, and you've covered pretty much a lot of the critical supply chain pain areas in terms of delivery time, in terms of replenishment, in terms of reducing your cost to transfer the goods, and aligning everybody in the supply chain to be to align to your innovative model, which is lovely. This is very nice, and true case study and use case of the last mile enabler.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Coming to you, KS, you have a interesting journey, which you have taken. It traveled through the multiple COVID eras. You had a business plan that had to be revamped to be aligned to COVID, and how technology has really helped you enable that at various levels. KS. Yes, you're on mute.
So, afternoon, everyone. Of course, my story is very different. If you compare with you people, so we're very excited and so many ups and downs. So, I haven't seen any success so far. So many failures. So and first of all, I thank to Mr. Sanjay Kaul. He always inspired me. He's a real inspiration for me. He always, he talks me, he chat me, he talks, new things with me. He said, I'm getting motivated from you. So I want to thanks to him, for inviting me in this session. So inspiration is very, very important. I became inspired when I 4-year-old in 74. Whom inspired me? That was Kiran Bedi. She inspired me. She was my dad's student. She was selected in PPCS, Punjab Civil Services, and she was very happy. And she said, "No, I got it what I wanted. I will stay in this state." And it was my dad who, he said no. He gave one, I was there only 4-year child was there, when my father told her satisfaction is another name of death. Satisfaction is another name of death. So you never satisfied in your life. So I'm still taking that word from my dad. So aaj bhi usi pe, I never get satisfied in my life. I'm hungry. Always hungry. So you won't believe it, in the COVID times, I work 18 to 19 hours a day. And my family, my children's always after me, Papa, ek to movie dekh lo. So I said, no. So this is the time to work, this is a time to make it something big. This is a time to dream. This is a time not to entertain. So I never entertain in me and during that time. I was seeing it, this failure will be a big, if I face this failure, I'll be making something big. So I passed that time and really I made it something very big now, and my dreams are very big. So I, as a entrepreneur, I feel the skills of the entrepreneurs, which I want to share it. It's very important. Dream is very important. Big dreams. आज भी हम why we are unable to make Google, why we are not able to make Facebook, Instagram in the country. क्यों? There's a big reason for that. Because Indian entrepreneurs don't dream big. This is the biggest problem here. They don't dream big. So I'll tell you one story of the dream. It's in '84, Indira Gandhi was speaking in UNO. So I asked my dad. My dad is a great inspiration for me. Whatever I am here, I'm just because of my father. So I said, Dad, I want to speak. I want to go and speak there. He just laughed. He said, no, you cannot be a politician. Either you should be minister or, I said, okay, if I become an IAS officer, even then he said, no chance, mushkil. Maybe you go in Indian foreign services, you get a chance. Maybe you can go there, but you may not speak. So then I asked, so this dream won't be fulfilled. He said, no, impossible. But मेरी dictionary में impossible नहीं है, because I dream big. And you won't believe it, in 2018, I have been called by the United Nations to come and speak. So I'm the first entrepreneur, I would say the first startup from the country who has gone to the United Nations and spoken over there. I spoke on SME, small medium entrepreneurs. Are you listening, please? Hello?
Yeah, we are.
Yes, we all are. We all are.
Okay. So there is another dream in my life. I was a big fan of Kapil Dev. So I was studying in Bangalore. 83. I was in Amritsar. So I used to say, Dad, I want to go to Chandigarh. I want to see Kapil Dev. Somehow I could not go. I went to the Bangalore in '88, and I was doing engineering there. And when I came back in '92, I got a first job in Chandigarh. I went to the bus stand. From there, I went to the Kapil Hotel. I thought he will be there only. But from there, I came to know, no, he has been shifted to Delhi. I started crying there over. Almost, आंसू बह रहे थे मेरे कि ये क्या है मेरा. And same in 2017 December, I brought him in the company. He was my first brand ambassador. So dreams are very important. When you dream big, वो सारी उम्र आपके साथ चलते हैं. That thing happens. You have a vision. You have a pure vision. करना है, ये हो सकता है. I had a dream, and कोई सोच नहीं सकता कि एक आदमी ड्रीम लेता है to speak in the United Nations, उसका ड्रीम पूरा हो जाता है. So this is possible. So dream, and when you dream, you have to dream very big. Otherwise, don't dream it. This is what I tell to my children also. To dream big. People should laugh on you. Let people laugh. And this has happened. I was studying in my college, and people used to laugh on me. I was the last bencher. Even teachers, the question I used to ask it, the teacher was unable to answer. And they used to tell me to sit at the last bench. What the stupid question you were asking? So, यही stupid बंदे ने stupid idea बना के, पूरे world को हिला दिया. So stupid things are important. One has to go for stupid things. आपको पागल भी होना पड़ेगा. Being an entrepreneur, you have to be mad. You have to be stupid. So then only I think you can do something. You have an example of the Facebook founder. He was mad. He was sharing to everyone. He was going every class. देखो मैंने ये, this is what I'm making it. Everybody used to laugh on this. So Facebook was made in the canteen of the college. Amazon made in a garage.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, KS. So,
Okay,
KS,
so
how has tech really helped you, and, you align tech and your dream uh, to enable the last mile?
tech is very important nowadays. I think, but मैं कह रहा हूँ कि मुझे जो I personally feel is, any startup who go with the tech, before that he must study the market. That's very important. If you first you think of making a technology and then you going in this is not going to successful. You have an example of Flipkart. Sachin Bansal, Binny Bansal sold books offline. MG Road पे दोनों ने 6 महीने books बेची, because they said we don't know how to sell even. Selling तो आती नहीं हमें. They learned selling by selling books on the MG Road. So I think that things are required basically. आप कुछ भी dream लेते हो उसके लिए बहुत कुछ करना पड़ता है. And I want to tell you that when I went for engineering in 88, I also sold sweater shawls in MG Road, commercial street, Bangalore. मैंने बेचे हैं क्योंकि I wanted to be entrepreneur. मेरी सोच ही वही थी. तो एक entrepreneur की सोच दूसरों से अलग होनी चाहिए. Those who make big, I think they have to do differently. No doubt tech is taking, tech is required when you have to scale up the business. That time it helps a lot. आज एक there's a startup, you'll be very amazed. There's a Karyana store startup from Indore. They were selling all non-branded grocery, and 1 year they did a business of 1 crore. They got funded.
Wow.
And after they scale up the business, technology they brought it, and I was used to laugh at what sort of people है. 1.5 साल हो गया technology नहीं बना पाए. How they getting funded? But after they made the technology, within 6 months, in 1 day they did a 1 crore business.
Perhaps it's a valid point. The critical role technology really plays in scaling up. The idea, the entire entrepreneurship really today hinges around scaling up, and technology plays a very critical role. Nikhil, coming to you, there's one question from one of the audiences in terms of strategies to fast implementation of technology. What are the various strategies to fast implement technology in rural India? With your interaction with so many brands, share some use cases with us.
Fantastic question. Who should ask this? So I'll tell you what. I think the first step towards having fast implementation of tech in rural is to have the right tech. I think the biggest error in judgment that we do with tech in and getting to rural is that we believe that what works in urban is going to work in rural. Fact check wouldn't work like that. So before even we getting into debating about the fact that what's the better way of going and implementing it with people, we need to be really sure about, is the tech relevant to them or not? Is that the right tech or not? Is that rural centric or not? Think about the dialects, the accents, the languages that these people have. You cannot pick up something that is relevant here and you take it there. I'll give a small little example.
True.
70% of the search in Google from rural is coming from voice search, right? I'm sure all of you know about it.
Yeah.
Think about Google.
And that's
not
amazing.
Voice search.
I mean, how it's changed the way people search today.
Yeah, but Amiya, interesting bit in this is, think about Google not having a voice search. Yeah, and taking their typical typing-based search engine to rural, and then trying to implement it hard. Yeah, no matter what you did, it wouldn't have worked. Today, I remember a few weeks back, Mr. Rajkumar Jha was talking about in one of the sessions that आज एक गांव के अंदर एक आदमी वो सर्च पे क्लिक करके बोलता है कि मोटर को कैसे चालू करना है. अगर आप उसको वो लिखने को बोलेंगे तो वो नहीं करेगा. Hence, the question is very valid, but the answer first is, do you have the right tech? today where we are in LMCE today, Amiya, I mean, the kind of tech that we're developing, it is bottom up. You cannot have, you cannot take a Flipkart and take it to rural. No, you'll have to make modifications. You'll have to build it bottom up. We have invested 3 years in building up a technology which is going to be only specific for rural. Recommendation engines, predictive engines, that's a separate story. So one is having the right tech. Please do not take technology from urban and try and push it in rural. Second is try, test, and scale. Try it first. Have your pilots done? Have your case studies done? Why is an MVP called an MVP? Though I don't know what technology is the gentleman talking about, but why is an MVP called an MVP? It's called a minimum value product because you need to build from ground up. You can't take something you made in US and take it to rural. Rural is very surprising. It surprises you, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
please
true.
Build
That's
it
true.
Bottom up. And third, I think value. Show them value. Yeah, I think they're ready to see value. If you show them value, they're ready to do it. At the end of the day, everyone sitting in rural, the consumer, the retailer, the farmer, whatever you talk about, he needs to see value. If we have succeeded in 5 years and we moved from one retailer, 2 districts to 5 lakh retailers across the country, it's because we've shown them value of tech. That's where it is. I'll give a quick example to you. Everything shut down on 23rd of March. So did we. We were back up taking orders in rural on if my memory serves me right, on the 12th of April, 22 days after it. Not because my salesman could get up and go to the retailer and take orders, no. Because we enabled them and showed them value of giving orders on a WhatsApp, right? We made an effort of creating an order taking message where they just had to put a value and send back. So just to keep it crisper, have the right tech. Please do not make the cardinal error of taking the urban tech and putting it in rural. Not going to work. Build it bottom up for rural, right? Second is test, try, learn, adapt, and then scale, right? And third, show them value. The population in rural is not only for TikTok. If my retailer sitting can give an order on WhatsApp, where everyone used to say WhatsApp is used in rural only for communication and entertainment. If I could use it for 6 months to generate orders and create record-breaking sales for companies which have never done in their history. We did sales for an automobile company, Amiya, on WhatsApp in COVID times, which I think the April, May, June quarter, which was the highest ever quarter sales for that company from the day of inception.
Wow.
Without even a single person going to a shop, right? So please show them the value. If you show them the value, they'll adopt. If you try and enforce it, not going to work.
Yeah, no, valid, absolutely valid point. I think value creation is fundamental to any seeding of technology at any point, and that's where the adoption really increases. And we've all seen how the value suddenly became much more clearer to everybody during the COVID. They're not. I don't think we are doing not doing anything less just because we're sitting at home working from home. The work, things are moving. Technology has stepped in, or maybe technology was always there and people were blindsided or not trusting it enough. So when they had no option, they tried and tested, and it really lived up to the expectation. Now, this is one very specific question. I'll come to each of the panelists. Shyam, I'll start with you. Now, obviously, there was a paradigm shift pretty much, which we saw in the way of doing business. This required a lot of tech enablement and would have required a lot of change management. It would have required a lot of upskilling, reskilling, right? How did you navigate through that?
Good question, Amiya. Yes, absolutely. The pandemic brought in a lot of paradigm shift, and what we did was we started holding these remote sessions since the penetration of internet today, thanks to the mobile penetration, mobile phones, probably 45+%, as you rightly said, in the rural, we got them on a Zoom call. Our salespeople used to talk about the sales to them. We used to talk about the tech part and the logistics part. That is where we could explain that you need to just log on to Storeking app and the rest we'll do for you the moment you pitch in the order. So we used to tell them what it means, which page to go. We used to help them each. We used to have a set of 20 retailers every day, make them navigate through every feature of our app and tell them to, come back on questions that they have so that they become more and more conversant. Yeah. And we had also a set of field forces who then used to do the last leg in terms of assisting them in placing orders. And that's how we built it and, made them evolve on the system, made them conversant, made them comfortable on the app. So at the end of the day, it's at the click of a button, you're getting the stocks, right? It's as simple as that. Only thing is you order today, the order probably is fulfilled to you in a week's time. But that is what has been the game changer. You don't need to have salesmen going to the customer every day. The retailer, on the other hand, can sit in the confines of his home and place an order. He can be having his dinner and suddenly realize, boss, I've run out of santur today. He can just open the Storeking app, place the order, and the order is fulfilled. So
Yeah.
it has changed completely. So while
So Shyam, I have a lot of questions coming at your way, and I'll start posting them as well. Another very interesting question is, Shyam, to you, what about collections of monies from franchisees? Does it happen in advance?
Yes, it is a prepaid. See, when we made the portfolio crisper, and it's a pull model, so the retailer is ordering what he wants. So when he knows that he's getting it, and that's what has been the what I call philosophy of our main reason of our success. We have retained our customers. See, customer retention has been very important for us before we go into a customer acquisition mode. Customer acquisition has always been incremental. Retaining an existing customer is very important, and that too with prepaid. That itself is testimony that we retain our customers. Our very prepaid.
Wow, that's amazing. In times like this, if you've built a service and you're getting prepaid service, that's just an amazing achievement today. KS, coming to you, there's a question. Could you let us know how the penetration of internet services by mobile network has facilitated in reaching rural markets? So how has that impacted, enabled in a positive way? It was easy for you to roll out your digital reach out programs.
See, I want to be honest. Maybe rural internet is reaching, but I think the people, Ajbi mindset, they are more going into the entertainment. So, they're more getting involved in the YouTubes and all. You don't see the people are placing orders online much. Okay. So it will change. It will, I think, it will take some time.
Still a journey to make.
Just few days back, I was in Bangalore, and there is a webinar by, where Rajan Anandan was there. So he was a MD Google, and the topic was India 2030. Very interesting, and I mentioned that. He said that by 2030, every big player will be in the rural only. They all will be sitting there. The people, those who are ignoring rural, they will be sitting there. Tier 3, Tier 4, and this rural area. And continuously by 2030, the urban will give a negative growth. I was amazed, listening.
Yeah, that's quite a staggering prediction if that does happen. Another level of paradigm shift if that is coming away.
Because Corona is going to stay another 2 years. This is what the study says. So this will affect the business in there, and that will affect another 5-6 years. But rural will grow in a dramatic way. And then he said that 50% will be the modern retail, which is at the moment is 16 to 17%. 50% by 2030, the modern retail will grow faster than the e-commerce. E-commerce will get boom after 2030. By 2040, it may cross modern retail, but at the moment, the market is so. He said to all the startups,
interesting predictions.
and he said to all the startups, go with a dual model, online come offline, O2O model, which is being done in the China itself. Now the US is happening the same. Dual model is required, and 25% will be e-commerce, and 20 to 25% unorganized retail. So that is great. So unorganized retail is going to be end very soon. It may take 15 years, but unorganized is, and that is good for India. That is really
valid
good
point.
for India.
Yeah.
That is very. And he talk about the sectors which are going to grow in the rural. That's very, very important. I'll take 1 minute on this. And he said the modern retail will grow like anything in the rural sector. Then is fintech. Fintech will be the game changer.
Yes.
Then I was surprised when he said repair market is a huge potential. Repair market. Which is one has who enter into repair business will be the king.
That's interesting.
Okay, and logistics, that will boom.
Logistic has to boom if the last mile has to work. Tech and logistic will have to go hand in hand unless my distribution channel is not established. Just marketing
So if
will not.
Logistics grow, then e-commerce will grow there. So
absolutely.
the government has to focus there that the infrastructure should be developed, logistics should grow. And one more thing, what he said, that start working on the education in India. Education in rural India.
Yeah.
I
think these are all these are points which have been existing for quite some time, and I think even in 2014-15 there's a lot of focus on tier 2, tier 3. Then a lot of other things happened. Demo happened, and pandemic happened. So I think it's going in that direction only. Eventually, I think these are fundamentals of.
And two more sectors which will be growing. Two more sectors, that is health and entertainment. There's a huge potential. Health as well as entertainment also.
So COVID has driven health for sure.
And in e-commerce, hyper local and B2B will, they will kill the B2C. B2C will boom in the rural sector.
Wow, that's very interesting. That's very interesting.
All good point, because he's an intelligent guy. It's the biggest fund now he's heading. He knows who is where these companies knows what's happening in the India, what will happen in India. And I saw him speaking in different forums. So whatever he says, all are facts.
No, absolutely, and these are in the right direction. For rural India, I think these predictions predictions have been there for quite a bit, and I think post COVID, it has to take the front seat to drive Indian economy and even the brand growths. The growth the brands are really envisaging for themselves. Coming to the brands, Nikhil, a couple of questions to you. And this is actually a question which says, is there any change in brand preferences in rural market during the last decade? So you have 10 years of information, knowledge, and experience to use to respond to this.
Yeah, absolutely. Changes happening quickly, changes happening every day. In fact, you will see a lot of changes happening within the COVID time frame as well. So interestingly, if you see that, what's the next growth driver, right? What is the revival plan for the economy in the country? So rural is the revival plan in the, that's the revival driver for the country today, right? Is there a consumer change? Absolutely. See, there's something called as urban, and we were talking about that yesterday internally. Urban is nothing but the affluent pockets within the village which have a behavioral attitude like an urban lifestyle. You know, so they would want cars, they would want mobiles, they would want smartphones. The rural consumer is absolutely more aligned, aware, and wanting and desirous today. There has been a change in terms of behavior. There's a change towards brand affiliations as well. They want a better brand at a better price. They want a better experience as well. That's also a fact that remains there. The only challenge that remains out there is that how ready are you to serve that change for a brand? I think what's more important is, as a company, as a brand, while the consumer is quickly changing, right? Are you ready? Are you equipped enough to address the behavior change with the consumer? That's the most critical part of it. I'll give you a very interesting case point to whosoever it was asking. And I'm talking about, forget a decade, I'll talk about 4 years of journey. 4 years back, and then I'll also tell you how tech becomes very relevant in that. 4 years back, when we started this journey with this FMCG brand, huge product basket these people had. And one of the products that they had was a hair removal cream, right? Please remember that we function in a pop strata of 1,000 to 25,000. When we started this journey, the contribution of this hair removal cream in the rural markets for this company was 0.0001%. All right. So that's 4 years backstory. Hair removal cream, 1,000 to 25,000 pop strata, contributing to 0.0001% of the rural sales within this space. Cut to today, and I'm talking about last year. This hair removal cream is the third largest contributing product for this company in rural, right? Now, the challenge is the consumer changing its approach towards and the behaviors to adoption of products. They are. We've been shouting rural is next. We've been shouting rural is now. It arrived yesterday. I put that before as well. It arrived yesterday. I'm not sure how many companies were aligned with that thought. What's important to understand is, did you have that product on the shelf when the consumer was ready?
Wanted it, yes.
And that's what tech will do. Amiya. That's what, the biggest cardinal sin we can do as marketers and as company is when we don't use technology to its full glory. Now the consumer why did this take 4 years for this hair removal cream to be from a 0.001% to becoming the third largest contributor? Is because we, like a lot of people said, people only buy. No, retailers are not buying. Retailers are in the business of making money. They're not in the business of selling. They are in the business of making money. Are you helping them make money? And that's what we want to do in LMC, Amiya. Technology just to do reporting and governance and stuff is not what is the future. Post-COVID, if you're not aligned with taking this technology and helping retailers make more money, then the tech is bad. The technology moving forward will capture exactly this consumer behavior. And if it does not, you're working on a wrong tech. The next tech and the tech that we're working on currently is not going to be making smart PDPs, and not making smart PGPs. Absolutely not. You need to be working on smart tech. That's what we call that at LMC. It has to be great recommendation and predictive engine. You need to tell the retailer that there has to be an offtake. There is going to be an offtake of a hair removal cream. How does that work? Rural always was working towards, to answer to that question, fairness creams were always sold in rural. We all know that. The offtake was very, very high from the beginning, right? But what was the trend that the company had to catch on? The trend the company had to catch on was niche products like, I can't even name them, exfoliating creams, right? The offtake got taken off. Beauty soaps got taken off. Marriage season, the product, anything related to beauty was going off the shelf. But my retailer would not keep this hair removal cream because he thought the offtake would not happen. Machine learning and artificial intelligence, we are working on that in our technology. I'm sure a lot of people are as well. But see, the cardinal sin is when you use machine learning and artificial intelligence for recommendations for retailers, right? You are underplaying tech. Retailer की previous order history उठाई और उसको हमने recommend कर दिया. What we need to work on is what is the offtake from the shop? What we call as neighborhood store offtake. What is the next shop to him? And we have retail details, right? Because we have 2.5 lakh retailers that we are serving. I know exactly what is the shop owner next to him ordering. I know exactly what is the shop owner next to him in the district ordering. I know what is the offtake of a beauty soap that's happening from him. That means we are understanding the consumer behavior, which by the way in rural is changing as we speak, right? So today, if my tech is not able to tell the retailer that, listen, the beauty product offtake is increased.
This is where you'll make money.
Yeah. If it does not tell my distributor that my own franchisee that start liquidating the other stock and start keeping the stock for, let's suppose they have removed cream, then the tech is a failure. If it doesn't tell the company that you need to spend your marketing budgets and product development around this space, then the tech is failure. So, you know, consumer behaviors are changing dramatically. Are you aligned to, are brands aligned to that changing behavior? Are they ready to services? I don't know. I am ready. LMC is absolutely equipped today. We are working on crazy technologies right now, crazy recommendation engines. We want the retailer, the distributor, and the VNE, everyone to earn. We don't want to tell them what they have to sell because they were selling it the last year. Trust me, Amiya. The retailer in the village knows it better than you.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't need an algorithm to tell him what he bought the last
tell him
month.
what. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
No, that's an interesting approach.
Yeah,
that's a very interesting approach, and that's coming down to what you've been reiterating again and again is the value. So that's how you're driving value to these retailers. Shyam, couple of questions for you, and two very interesting questions. One is, how do you differentiate between Udan app and your project? One, and the one which I really liked and is very interesting, how does competition from Amazon affects Storeking?
See, to be honest, Amiya, be it Udan, be it Amazon, they today have been catering to the urban and tier one, and honestly not gone beyond. It takes time. We have been here last 7 years, and understanding rural consumer is not easy. Making the rural Kirana as the anchor and having him on your loyalty platform is very difficult, which we have established and demonstrated. So to be honest, we are complementary. Be it Amazon, be it Udan, they are in urban and tier one, and we are beyond tier two and three and beyond.
Right.
It's complementary. So there's no competition as such at the moment.
Got it. Okay, gentlemen, I think we are out of time. Just as a last question to each panelist, and then key takeaways from our discussion today. If each one of you could respond on, what's the way forward? Where do you see this tech driving the last mile connectivity and the kind of challenges and opportunities you see coming your way, and in the way of the industry, going forward? That'll be interesting to know. I'll start with you, Mr. KS.
So, honestly speaking, I think tech is going to play a major role now, either it's in urban or in the rural. So, but I personally feel that tech is going to gain big in a rural area. Internet is going big in rural. So far, I think we have around 200 million people are there. I think by 2025, around 500 million people will be in having the internet. And I'm sure the model which the way we are doing it, online come offline model, that will play a major role. And I would personally feel in e-commerce, rural needs rural commerce, not e-commerce. And we are working, and we are seriously working on our
Well
commerce.
put. Well put.
So,
Well put.
so we are seriously working on that our commerce. So I think that is the need of the hour. E-commerce would take time to enter big way in rural. So मुझे जो लगता है कि e-commerce is made only for the urban area, tier 1, tier 2 cities. When you beyond the going tier 3, tier 4 and rural, I think country needs a new e-commerce. So
No, I agree. I think
उसी
a
की
few
खोज में
entrepreneurs.
हम लोग उसी की खोज में हम लोग. So I think
I'm sure
out of the
few
box.
entrepreneurs have to sell some books in rural to figure that out.
So India needs
And
out of
go
the box.
beyond MG Road.
So
And I'm sure that'll take shape.
yeah, it will take shape. Out of the box idea required for the rural. I think startups, they will do. I think if India is going to, who will change the India? If anybody asks me, I will straightway say the startups are going to change the India.
Thank you, KS. Thank you. Well put. Well, all valid points. I think that's why even the government, there's a lot of impetus on the Make in India, focus on entrepreneurs and pushing them in the right direction. Shyam, coming to you, we'd had interesting move of yours from a brand to a logistic company, and you've implemented these innovative models. Where do you see this going from here?
As I like the coinage, what Mr. Bhatia said, yes, rural commerce. It is going to be rural commerce, and one step ahead, it could be social commerce. So, just to take a leaf from HUL's Shakti program, where, the last common villager, a lady who is able to sell her ideas, her products on a platform. So, each person in a village, the average consumer can become a micro entrepreneur, and that will lead to the next era of social commerce. So technology will lead this to probably pave the way for social commerce going forward.
Well put, well put. Nikhil, to sign off on brand and technology.
Yeah. So I think both of them both the panelists put it absolutely correct that, and I love the words that are being coined right now, rural commerce,
yes,
social commerce. Very interesting. I'll keep it plain and simple, Amiya. I think COVID has taught us a lot. It's not over yet. Right? One thing what COVID has taught us is swift adoption of technology. Pre-COVID, the fundamentals were very different. It was a human-centric approach towards rural, where human resource was maximum. I think we are very clear here at LMC that technology needs to move for anyone to succeed in rural. Technology needs to move from enabler and a facilitator to being the driver in the ecosystem. Very, very clear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
For anyone, let's have this session again, probably after 3 years. The difference between companies who will win and who will just exist will be how well placed is their technology with the rural ecosystem. Is this technology led or is this technology facilitated? We believe it's got to be technology led. How serious are we with this fact is, I'll tell you what, we are a company which were 20 years in rural marketing, and we called impact communication. I was leading an SBU called as LMCE. How serious are we about it? How seriously do we think tech will drive it? Just as we speak, we formulated LMC as a technology-led aggregator platform for brands to go to rural. I've been doing it for 5 years, but we are serious because we believe there's potential there. We envision that by 2022, we'll be in 1 million stores. We are in 5 lakh stores right now. We'll be in 1 million stores by 2022. And you know what is at the base of it? And we are confident. I'm probably understating figures right now, but tech is what's going to drive it. I have a little contrary view to a few people here that adoption is going to be slow. Probably Kirana stores will die. Will Kirana stores die? Probably yes, probably not. Give it 2 decades. Until 2 decades, the potential that will drive in rural is crazy. Are you ready for it? Absolutely. I mean, if you're not, you will cease to exist. We are. We want to be in the 1 million stores in next 2 years. We want to be in the largest tech-driven, not tech-enabled, tech-driven aggregator platform in the country. So cheers to that, and hopefully another year we'll prove that.
Thanks, Nikhil.
Don't take technology light.
I don't think that's an option for any of us anymore. I think we are way beyond the time when we could consider technology as an option. So, thank you everyone. Very critical and important pointers which all of you, brought up to the table. I'll sum up our discussion with my key takeaways from this very interesting and engaging discussion. Nikhil, you pointed out that it's not an adoption of what's been implemented in urban, and you can take that to rural. It has to be studied again. It has to be built bottoms up. For the retailers, how do you help them make more money? So value creation is very critical, and that's important in every form of for adoption of technology. KS, I think the word for the evening will be rural commerce. I think that's something we've coined today, and very, very interesting. Shyam, I think you're giving tough competitions to all the social media influencers by creating rural kirana as the influencers in the true sense. So I think that's a paradigm shift, and you get the kirana store guys on rural, on rural social media. I think we should start adding rural everywhere. It'll change the way we look at things. And there are tons of more questions, so I will request Aadhar, and they're all pointed at some of the other panelists. So if Aadhar, you could share them with the panelists, and they can respond to them one-on-one. That's very specific questions when it comes to the app, the technology, and your use of it and adoption of it. So thank you everyone. Thank you gentlemen. That this was really fun and engaging, and I've learned a lot, and I have a lot of takeaways from this discussion. Thank you, KS. Thank you, Shyam. Thank you, Nikhil. Over to you, Aadhar.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Amiya. Yeah, nice. Thanks, Nikhil and Mr. Bhatia as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking our time and
very
for the
excited time we had.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And thank you for the discussion. We have last webinar of the series, which is on what can make us win, digital or phygital. That's on next Saturday, and I invite you all for that. And we'll surely send these questions to the panelists, to whomsoever they are marked, or there maybe if none of them is marked, then we'll send it to the moderator, and they can decide that who would be the right person to answer.
You can just shout out a copy and email Aadhar to all of us. That's fine, and then
sure.
They can just respond to you, and then you can communicate it to the right audience member who had asked that question.
Sure, we'll do that.
Great. Thank you, Aadhar. Thank you for this opportunity, and lovely to meet you all. Pleasure. Have a good weekend. Stay safe.
Bye. Thank you.
Cannot not say that.
Thanks to the audience as well. We had quite a sizable number listening to us. Great. Thanks.
I couldn't see the number. Aadhar, what was the audience number?
I think we had 87, somewhere around 37 are still showing. I think 80 plus were there, and they're all logged out now.
Yes, sir. So there were around 80, 70. Yeah. The number was fluctuating between.
Good. And you'll all see these questions coming from big brands like Maruti and TVS Motors, and so very interesting questions to do have a look.
Yes.
Sure. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Amiya. Thanks, Shyam.
Thanks, Mr. Bhatia.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Bhatia. Thank you. Thanks, Aadhar. Thanks so much.